Hi, I'm Francesco Rulli, the CEO of Querlo. I'm here today with Matt Park, the General Manager for North America of Dacadoo. Matt, if you can share with us a little bit more about your work and your experience.
Yeah, thanks, Francesco. So I manage Dacadoo Americas, which is a subsidiary of a Swiss company, Dacadoo Inc. or Dacadoo AG. And we're a digital health platform developer, and we work mostly with the insurance sector. So with health insurers, with life insurers, and also with health technology companies or firms that are building health technology and need a platform. So we provide digital engagement strategies and within the platform and all types of technology around that, as well as risk quantification. So we have a risk engine that can determine not only mortality risk, but also morbidity risk and impute missing health values and things like that within the engine.
Very interesting. Thank you, Matt. So looking at the current situation with the COVID emergency, but also looking at the future to something that I call the post-COVID era, where do you see the challenges, but also the opportunities from your professional perspective?
Yeah, thanks. The challenge is right now. The challenge is that the sales process, the marketing process that we are used to has been drastically changed, has slowed down in many ways. So we did over 20 conferences last year in North America alone, probably over 60 worldwide as Dacadoo, because we have operations in APAC and Europe as well. So this was our main marketing method, was to go to conferences, get speaking roles, be on stage, meet people, talk to people, and get business that way. So all the conferences were canceled, as I'm sure you know. And so we had to start shifting that budget into digital media, and which we didn't have, right? So we had to start creating stuff, start scheduling webinars, and then of course we're competing with hundreds of companies that are trying to do webinars at the same time. And I would say, people on the receiving end are probably on webinar overload right now, because every day you get 3 invitations to see a webinar. So how many can you do? We're doing a lot of articles that we're getting published. So we're busy writing things. I mean, I've written a bunch of things. We've got some external resources helping us as well. Our marketing department is very busy right now revamping the website. So that's been a big effort to just kind of shift the marketing campaign. In the meantime, the sales, I would say the first half of the year actually has gone really well, because we had a lot of business in the pipeline going into the year before the COVID. And fortunately, all of that continued to go through contract and close contracts. But I would say that the customers, after the COVID started, the first few weeks, probably not so much, because everybody thought, oh, we're going to get back to work in a few weeks, right? Remember that time? Like, oh yeah, it's going to be shut down till April 6th or something like that. Yeah, that's not true, right? So now we have this scenario where there's no more travel this year probably, and maybe even into early next year. Big companies who are our customers, these are big organizations, life insurers, health insurers, they don't necessarily know yet how it's going to affect their bottom line, not even their top line. Are we gonna miss revenue forecasts? Are we gonna miss earnings forecasts? Things like that. So for the most part, CFOs are telling people, hey, don't spend too much money, or be careful. And so conversations about business, which, I'll get to what's happening on the sort of interest side in a minute, but conversations about doing deals are going slower. We're still having them, but they're at a much slower pace, I see. So it's like, okay, we'll get together in a few more weeks with the next meeting. We did a lot of business face-to-face, of course, before. Meetings might be 3 or 4 hours once we get into serious discussions about using our platform, and would involve a large group of people from the customer side, stakeholders. And so now those are all virtual, and not too many people want to do 3 and 4 hour meetings online, quite frankly. So we have a 1 hour meeting, and then it's going to be another 1 hour meeting in a few weeks. And so I see our sales cycle slowing down that way. Now, the good news is that COVID, because we're in the digital health space, the COVID, pandemic, which is very unfortunate, has created a very acute awareness of why companies need to have a digital health strategy. And companies that didn't, I think, have really had to question themselves. And very quickly, we got a lot of new requests for information. And so I do see ultimately that this will kickstart a whole bunch of companies into a faster, platform acquisition process. But we're just in a gap right now where think people don't know what does our financial future look like, and how do we have to handle our budgets. So I think, even by the end of this year, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of new opportunities coming and moving faster, quite frankly, through our sales cycle. So there's a downside, but I see ultimately this is going to be a very big upside for us going forward.
Very interesting. Indeed, very similar in line with what's happening with us at Cuervo. And what's your perspective about the role of artificial intelligence in this new era that we are entering?
Yeah, well, it's a very important part of our platform. For one, I mean, as a digital health platform, we are ingesting real-time data from users. Okay, the ultimate end users of our platform are potentially an insured person, of life insurance or a health insurance, maybe an employee, of one of the group customers, et cetera, are using an app that's based on Dacadoo. And we're collecting up to 100 data points about their health through wearables and through the app itself, and questions that our digital coach, which is an AI-based, bot, let's call it, that is pulling all this information together in a database, and then using artificial intelligence to understand the person's health, not just the raw facts of it, but how it's evolving over time. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? What aspects of their health need improvement? And then reaching out to these people and communicating with them and chatting with them about, making suggestions for things, for myself, who, when I was traveling nonstop, and, before the COVID, I would often not get much sleep because of flight schedules and hotels and different time zones and whatnot. And I would get a message from the digital coach saying, "Hey, Matt, noticed that you only slept an average of 5 hours per night last week, and the average, should be around 7 to 8. Perhaps you would want to enroll in our Sleep Better program." And they would give me the link and hand me the link to that in the app. And we have all that content right in the app. So, and we also have articles about sleeping better. So here's a few choices that you could read an article. So understanding a person's health and communicating with them in a very personalized way has a much bigger impact on that person responding. I mean, you could imagine if the message was, "Hey, everybody should eat more broccoli this week," a lot of people aren't going to respond to that, right? But if it's, "Matt, based on your personal health, I noticed this," or "Here's a suggestion for how you could do something better," I mean, I'm going to read it. I mean, you get a very high response rate to this, artificial intelligence-based personalization.
Right.
So I think it's essential for, the promise of what digital health holds is the, really the expansion of AI in that field.
Definitely. Thank you. So, Matt, this is actually extremely interesting. I was interviewed last week by a Russian company. Organization asked me if I sleep just a few hours a night or extensive, and I say, no, I try to sleep 8 hours. It's the trick to perform better, in my humble opinion. But if people want to learn more about you, your work, and Dacadoo, what's the best way to reach out to you?
I'm easy to reach. So my email address, for one, we have a website, which is, Dacadoo.com. My email address is matt.park, P-A-R-K, so matt.park @Dacadoo.com. And I believe my phone number is even on our website, so they can call me. I'm based in the Boston area, so happy to talk anytime.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Francesco.